Have you ever wondered why some people seem to naturally attract prosperity, while others, despite prayer and effort, remain stuck in scarcity? Well, this is a question that plagues many, and perhaps you yourself are experiencing this dilemma right now. But there is a spiritual key hidden in the word, a secret so powerful that the enemy trembles just hearing it. What I'm going to share today isn't theory or a catchphrase. It's a divine principle that has already changed the lives of ordinary people, and can radically transform yours too. Get ready, because we're not talking about luck, economics, or human effort. We're talking about a divine promise, recorded in Deuteronomy 8 verse 18, which reveals the true power to acquire riches. And before we dive into this revelation, I have an invitation for you: subscribe to the channel, activate the bell and come walk with me on this journey of faith, abundance and financial disruption. Because this could be the video that opens the door to your covenant with God for a life of prosperity that will never be the same again. Many people look at their own financial lives and ask themselves, why do I pray, am I faithful, and yet I remain trapped in debt and lack? This reflection shows that prosperity is not just about working hard, but about accessing a spiritual key that has already been unlocked. While some live in abundance, others remain stuck because they have not yet understood the principle of covenant with God. I've experienced this dilemma myself. There was a time when, in despair, I knelt and asked, Lord, why does nothing seem to work out? It was in the silence of prayer that I realized the answer wasn't waiting for a blessing to fall from the sky, but recognizing that He had already given me something powerful. This experience was a turning point and opened my eyes to see that financial disruption doesn't come from human strength, but from revelation. It was then that I came across Deuteronomy 8 verse 18, which declares, "It is He who gives you the power to get wealth." This phrase burned within me like fire. I discovered that the divine promise was already active, but I wasn't using the key. God wasn't delaying in acting, I just hadn't understood that the power to generate prosperity was already within me, just waiting for my decision to act. Satan doesn't need to take money from your hand, often, he just needs to plant the lie of scarcity in your heart. He whispers that debts are eternal, that opportunities will never come, and that prosperity is not for you. These thoughts erode confidence and make even the most fervent prayers seem empty. Fear has a silent power over the mind and spirit. It shapes your financial decisions, makes you doubt your capabilities, and question whether it's worth investing or taking a risk. With each worry, the enemy strengthens his position, because weakened faith paves the way for defeat. But the truth is, this power of deception only works when you believe you're powerless. The enemy thrives as long as Christians see themselves trapped by their circumstances, failing to recognize that there's a greater force available to transform their financial lives. Understanding this is the first step to turning the tables and breaking the cycle of scarcity. God has already prepared a way out for those who feel financially trapped, and the enemy loses power as soon as this truth is recognized. The Word has the authority to break chains and bring liberation, showing that scarcity doesn't have to be a permanent sentence. When you understand this, you begin to see new possibilities. Recognizing God-given power completely changes the way we live. Fear no longer controls decisions, and life no longer revolves around lack. Prayers are now said with confidence, and each financial step is taken with conviction, knowing that there is a greater power guiding the way. The secret is to realize that the fight isn't against people or circumstances, but against the lies they try to paralyze. Once the truth is revealed, you begin to act boldly, seeing opportunities where there were previously obstacles, and understanding that prosperity has already been planned for those who decide to believe and act. There's a verse the enemy really doesn't want you to know, Deuteronomy 8 verse 18. While the world insists that wealth depends on economics, luck, or the influence of others, the Bible makes it clear that the power to generate prosperity comes from God. This is a principle that completely transforms the way we view financial life. Many people live trapped in the idea that they will never have enough, but this verse reveals that prosperity doesn't depend on external circumstances. By understanding that wealth is the fruit of a divine covenant, it's possible to change our mindset and begin acting in accordance with this promise. The difference between those who remain in scarcity and those who prosper lies in understanding this principle. When you internalize that God gives you the power to create wealth, the lie of insufficiency loses its power, and you begin to make decisions with confidence, knowing that there is a greater support guiding every step. God doesn't hand out ready-made wealth, but grants the power to generate it. This power manifests itself in many ways: ideas that emerge at the right time, wisdom to make sound decisions, unexpected opportunities, and the ability to produce concrete results. Recognizing this completely changes the way we act. People often see themselves as victims of their circumstances, hoping that something external will solve their problems. The difference lies in thinking like a covenant child, seeing each challenge as an opportunity to manifest the power God has already placed within. This mindset frees us from fear and doubt. When you internalize that the power to create wealth is already available, you begin to act strategically and confidently. Every action becomes motivated by faith, not desperation, and the cycle of scarcity begins to be replaced by attitudes that attract abundance naturally and consistently. The enemy works to keep Christians blind and complacent, making them accept scarcity as normal. He uses distractions, discouragement, and doubts about whether prosperity is truly spiritual to prevent them from recognizing the power that has already been given. The central lie is to make you believe that you will always be trapped in difficulties, that prosperity is for others and not for you. These thoughts undermine faith, hinder financial decisions, and hinder growth. Often, we don't even realize we're being manipulated by these false beliefs. But the truth is that power has already been given. Recognizing this is crucial to breaking the cycle of scarcity. Once you understand the enemy's strategy, you can position yourself consciously, reject lies, and begin acting according to the authority you already possess. The first step is to declare the word daily. Boldly speaking Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 and replacing lies with divine truth strengthens faith and renews the mind. Small habits of reaffirmation bring big changes over time. It's also necessary to change your mindset, abandoning thoughts of scarcity. See yourself as someone empowered by God to prosper. Every decision, every financial choice, must be made with this awareness, aligned with the promise of abundance that has already been granted. Faith-based action is essential. Begin sowing, investing, and obeying the Spirit's guidance, even if it seems risky. Be a good steward of what you already have and act fearlessly, expecting an increase. It is in practice that the power given by God manifests itself concretely in your financial life. Even after recognizing the power of wealth generation, the enemy tries to rekindle doubts and bring up past failures. He wants you to revert to fear and hesitation in your financial decisions, making the journey more difficult. The answer is to act with authority. Mentally rebuke lies and declare, God has given me the power to generate wealth, I walk in His abundance. This stance strengthens faith and blocks negative influences on your choices and attitudes. Don't let fear control your actions again. Every time you reaffirm the truth, every step you take with confidence, you strengthen your connection to God's promise and begin to see concrete results, even in the midst of challenges. Financial disruption isn't something that will happen in the future, it begins now. God has already released the power, and the enemy is only trying to delay the process. Those who decide to act in faith will find that opportunities begin to align in surprising ways. It's time to recognize that change depends on your action. The choice is yours: remain in fear or move forward, trusting in the promise that has already been given. Every decision made with conviction brings visible results. Even small steps, taken with faith, can generate significant transformations in your financial life. Consistency is the key to unlocking progress. The cycle of scarcity only breaks when you decide to act immediately. Every step toward abundance demonstrates that you have understood the divine principle. The necessary strength is already within you, waiting to be used. It's time to put fear aside and walk with confidence. Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 is a divine covenant that cannot be broken, a guarantee that the power to generate wealth has already been granted. It doesn't depend on one's own strength or circumstances, but on the covenant established by God. Understanding this completely changes the way you view your financial life. Prosperity is not just a desire, but a spiritual inheritance available to those who decide to act with faith. Each step taken with confidence strengthens this promise and shows that abundance was designed to be experienced concretely. Recognizing this truth is liberating. Declarations of victory are crucial. Saying, "My financial breakthrough begins now," isn't just a phrase, it's a position before God and a rejection of the enemy's lies. By internalizing this promise, every financial decision becomes guided by faith, not fear or doubt. To experience the promised abundance, it's important to follow a practical guide, such as the Financial Pact, How to Build a Pact with God to Eliminate Debt. It shows you step by step how to align your actions with God's promise and transform your financial life in a concrete way. Start by applying each instruction with faith, obeying God's direction, and practicing financial discipline. Share your experiences, track your progress, and realize how small actions can yield big results. Consistency is what builds true breakthroughs. And here's a special invitation: click the link in the pinned comment, subscribe to the channel, share the content, and become part of a community that seeks prosperity with spiritual awareness. The journey is more powerful when we walk together and strengthen each other. Now that you know the truth about the power God has already placed in your hands, the question remains: will you act or remain trapped in fear and doubt? Every decision, every step you take in faith, is an invitation to transform your financial life in a real and lasting way. Reflect: what actions can you take today to access the financial breakthrough that has already been promised? What thoughts of scarcity need to be replaced with declarations of faith and trust in God's promise? It's time to internalize that change depends on your action. So, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay tuned for more content that will strengthen your prosperity journey. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message, and remember, the power to generate wealth has already been given. Now it's time to live that promise.